with a video. We're gonna get it on the road. I hate me so much. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ashley Henderson, Ashley, Cashley, whichever one you want to call me. And if you are new to my channel, make sure you guys subscribe right now so that you can be the first ones to be alerted on my new videos. But hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and join the game. So for those of you who aren't new to this channel, you already know who your girl is. And so today's video is going to be really fun. I'm excited about this video because this has actually been something that I've been kind of like pushing off to do for a really long time. But now we're quarantined and I have all the time in the world to get around to it, excuse me. So here we are. So as you can tell by the title of this video, obviously this video is going to be a super informative video for people who are not that familiar with the sport of track and field, or even if you are, that's totally fine. You can totally watch this video. Please do, and please give me your feedback. But really encourage you guys to share this video with people who you think this best fits and that could find this information valuable, excuse me, and helpful. But yeah, so video to just explain a little bit of track and field, the sport itself, how track and field works on a professional standpoint, and just track and field. Okay, track and field is not a super popular sport compared to football and basketball in America. So, and we need to change that. We really do. I don't know how. I'll think about it, but I wish we could change that. So that's why I'm just gonna go ahead and just do this video, because being an athlete, I've been in this sport for a long time, and I have kind of gotten a lot of the same questions. And some of the, and I've been around for a long time, and yeah, we're gonna get into this video because I'm here to help those of you who may come across a track and field athlete, or just even want to educate yourself more on the knowledge of the sport and everything. So kick back, relax, and let's get into this lecture. So first things first, we do not play track. We do not play track and field. We run track. And when you're referring to someone that is a field event athlete, such as someone who may do the pole vault or someone who may do high jump or long jump, you don't refer to that as, do you play track and field? I get this a lot. I can be out, wherever, in the malls, grocery stores, whatever, and someone look at me like, oh, you look like you play track, or do you play track, or do you play track? That term is just not used when you're referring to a track and field athlete. You do use the word play with such sports that I think really requires like a ball in the sports. Like I thought about most sports that have a ball in the sport, you use the word play. But like if you were talking to a swimmer, you wouldn't say, do you play swimming, or do you play swim, or you know that's just, they're a swimmer. And like track and field, we don't play track, we run track. Yeah, so just a little bit of a slight difference, and it just all depends on what sport you are referring to in the moment. But people, we don't play track, we run track. And then again, if you are someone who actually isn't a runner and someone who's in a field event, then you refer to them and you use it just a different language. So whatever event that they do, if they're a high jumper, then they are a jumper, they are a long jumper, they're a pole vaulter, they, so just be a little mindful on how you are talking or referring to the sport, and which verbiage is appropriate and which verbiage is not appropriate when you are talking about specific sports. So that's that. You guys won't believe though, like I hear that all the time. It's fine, you guys are fine, don't worry about it, it's fine. That's why I'm here, to help you. So my next topic is, let me break it down for you guys, because misconception. So yes, some athletes are sponsored. You have athletes who are sponsored by tons of brands out there, okay? There's not tons, but you get what I'm saying. So there's multiple brands out there, right? And not every athlete is sponsored by the same brand. So you're gonna see certain athletes wearing certain different logos just depending upon which sponsorship or they have. Now, I get this a lot. So yes, I am sponsored by Adidas, okay? I'm sponsored by Adidas. And sometimes when people see me in USA uniform, which has a Nike symbol and a Nike logo on it, they get confused. They're like, well, I thought you were sponsored by Adidas, so how are you wearing Nike one minute and you're wearing Adidas the next? So let me break it down for you. So yes, I am sponsored by Adidas. I have to compete and train in my Adidas gear, okay? But when you make a USA team, so like Olympic teams or other championship teams, Nike sponsors the USA team. So that is the uniform that you have to wear when you're on a USA national team. It does not mean that I'm not sponsored by Adidas, or it does not mean that that athlete isn't sponsored by whomever they are sponsored by that's not Nike. Totally not the case. It's just, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it's just that Nike sponsors Team USA, Nike sponsors probably other teams as well. But in our case, yes, we are sponsored by USA Track and Field is sponsored by Nike. So anytime there is a national team or just a team event, I will be in USA uniform that will have a Nike logo on it. It will not have an Adidas logo, and I will not get in trouble. I get that all the time. Like, are you in trouble for wearing that? No. It's just, that's the uniform that we have to wear for what event and what particular situation it is at that moment. But if it's not a team event, if it's not going on the Olympic team or another national championship team, something, whatever, then yes, I am in my Adidas gear. 3 stripes. That's the life. Anyway, but yeah, I'm 3 stripes. That's the life. Unless your girl makes the Olympic team, I will be in a USA uniform that has a Nike logo on it, okay? So I really hope that kind of clears the confusion. And I know it's not, you know, information that's just out there for people to know and understand. So which I understand why some people can be a little confused and caught off guard when they see that, because, you know, we heavily post like, oh, our Adidas this and Adidas that and Adidas that, and then they like see you turn around and some Nike stuff next minute. Like, I'll probably be like, what's going on? Like, so I get it. So yeah, and moving on to topic number 3. So I get this question a lot too. And again, it's just because people don't understand the sport. They don't know the sport that well either. You know, people see the Olympics every 4 years really. That's only when people really kind of care about track and field. So, and when it's in the Olympics. So, and which is every 4 years. So let me just break this down to you. I get this question a lot in regards to how do we make our money in the sport. And it's tons of ways, and it's several different streams of ways you can make money in the sport of track and field, but I'm just gonna break down the basics and just some of the main basic ways of money being made in the sport. So like I said earlier in this video, some athletes are signed to a shoe company, shoe brand, shoe company, which means you sign a contract. And that's basically your main source of income. It's like a regular job, annual salary, whatever. Now everybody's contracts are different. I can only speak from my own, so please do not take this as this, you know, means this is how it is for everyone. No, everybody's contracts is different, okay? But yeah, so I do have a salary with Adidas. I get paid like it's as if it was a regular traditional job, right? But then there's other ways that money is made. So money is also made at track meets. You know, you can win bonuses, you can get prize money depending on, you know, your placement in a race, first, second, or third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, you know. There's prize money there, and then there's bonuses for things like if you run a PB, which is a personal best, or if you break a record even, you can get a bonus from that. So not only do you get some prize money from that, but now you also get a bonus from that, and you get a bonus from your shoe company as well. So it's like there's tons of ways to make money. Oh, and also appearance fees. You know, if you are a high caliber athlete in the sport, or just, you know, you don't even have to be a high caliber. Not that you don't have to be high caliber. I won't say that. But some athletes do get an appearance fee. And an appearance fee is meets will pay athletes to come to the meet. So not only can you possibly get $10,000 if you win first place. These are all made up numbers, okay? Like, don't quote. But yeah, so like if you win first place, you can get $10,000 right there just for winning first place. But then a meet may say, hey, if you come to the meet, regardless of what place you get in the race, we want you to come to the meet, we'll pay you $5,000 or $10,000, whatever. And then there's another way for you to make money if you break a record or break your own personal record, whatever. Now your shoe company is gonna give you a bonus, and that bonus is gonna be fat. Let me tell you, you get a lot of money when you break a record. Like, strive to break a record. So yeah, that is basically some of the basic, normal basic ways of, you know, revenue with the sport. That's to my knowledge. So basically, at the end of the day, the ways of making money in track and field is, you know, you have a contract, you receive prize money, you can receive bonuses, yeah. And then obviously you can have other sponsorships as well, like, you know, stuff that doesn't, you know, interfere with your shoe deal. So obviously you can't be sponsored by Nike and Adidas at the same time, no. But athletes have other deals going on, and it's not, since athletes don't really have just their one, you know, shoe deal and that's it. You know, you can have other things. You can have a water sponsorship, you name it. Mostly sport related, but hey, now today it could be anything. You can make money anyway, especially with social media being so like prevalent in our time of today. So tons of ways to make money, and obviously if you're smart with your money, then you'll be just fine and have tons of success at the end of the day in the sport of track and field. So okay, so moving on to my next topic. This one is funny. This one is really funny, actually. Okay, I get this a lot. What's your 40-yard time? So let me just clear one thing first, for starters. In track and field, the track that you see, that oval thing around grass, or maybe even some dirt, I don't know, depending on where you're at, but that oval track, that is measured in meters. The track is not measured in yards, not inches, not centimeters. It is measured in meters. So when I get that question about what's my 40-yard time, I don't know. I don't run 40 yards, and I don't run in yardage. So is that how you say that? I don't know. But anyway, we run in meters. So for instance, I am a 100, 200 meter dash runner. And so, I mean, yeah, I probably could run a 40 yard for sure. Like, give me some cleats, I'll throw it on and get out there and run a 40 yard time, easy. But meters are like slightly a little bit longer. Yeah, longer than yards. And we just don't run 40 yards. I mean, we just don't run in yards, period. So that's a little bit of a misconception as well, because I get that a lot. I think I get that more than anything. It's what's my 40-yard time. And I know that is really obviously a football thing, but it's not a track and field thing. I mean, there's tons of track athletes who can run a 40-yard, or who could probably run faster than some of the football players in their 40 yards. But we don't run in yards. We don't run in yards. We run in meters, so I can't answer that question for you. But that's just something to make sure you kind of just keep in mind when you're talking to athletes in other sports, because just because the 40-yard dash is very predominantly a thing in football, it doesn't mean that it's like that with every sport and all sports. Like, it's just, but it's not your fault. It's because that is it's a common thing. Like, It's just a common thing. It's a common thing with football. It's not common amongst other sports. So yeah. So next topic is, what do you do in between the Olympics? Yeah, what do you do in between the Olympic Games? Like, no one thinks that we're running. Like, literally people like have no idea about the fact that track and field does still exist, and track and field is still going on despite the Olympics being every 4 years. Like, people literally think you wait 4 years to run and you wait another 4, another 4, another 4. No. So yes, we obviously, the Olympic Games is the highest platform, highest, you know, event, and that's what everyone strives for, is to become an Olympian and an Olympic medalist. So that is the highest level that we can reach in track and field. Like, football is going to the Super Bowl is the highest level of like a championship game that is attainable and reachable, that a football player can reach and a team can reach. And I'm trying to make sure I'm using the right words talking about football. So like, at least I'm trying to make sure of it, okay? But yeah, so once the Olympic Games happen, then depending on like how the cycle is set up, usually there's like an off year, or then now there's a world championship year. And then there's still a season. Like, we don't just sit down, take a year off and whatever and you know, gear back up. No, there's still a season every single year. Still a full season. And those seasons include us traveling to like other countries or even within our country and, you know, competing at meets. We don't, again, just do nothing. So yes, we do train, just like if we were training for the Olympics. We still train that year that it's not an Olympic game. We're training to compete. And like I said earlier in the video, we're training to compete, and you're winning prize money, you're getting bonuses, you know, you're still competing. The sport doesn't just stop. And then you also, you know, you're competing and you're able to go overseas and compete at all these awesome places, awesome countries, places you would have never thought you would ever visit. And so the sport does still continue once the Olympics is over and once the Olympics happen, or once you're getting ready for the Olympics. You know, we are still competing. And again, there's usually, how it happens is every 2 years is world championships, and then every 4 years is Olympic Games. Then you also have like an indoor world championship team that you can make and participate in the indoor world champs. Then there's an outdoor world champs, tons of diamond leagues. And diamond leagues, let me explain that really quickly. Diamond leagues are really big premier meets in track and field. Like, diamond leagues are meets held throughout the season. Really big platform. Like, if you get invited to a diamond league, and that's how you know it's big, because you have to get invited. You can't just put your name in and want to enter into a diamond league. No, you have to get invited or accepted into this meet. And there's only 8 lanes on the track, or there's only a certain amount of people they'll take for a field event, or a certain amount of people they'll take for a track event. So diamond leagues are really big meets. Those are the biggest meets, honestly, in the sport of track and field. Aside of obviously going to the Olympic trials or the Olympic Games or the World Championships. So everyone strives to get into a diamond league. Everyone's trying to get into a diamond league because, again, that's the best of the best. The best of the best is at the diamond leagues. You want to be with the best of the best. So yeah, so and typically most of the diamond leagues are usually held overseas. For us USA athletes, most of those diamond league meets are overseas in other countries. So that's what we're doing. We're competing still. We're competing still at diamond league meets, or even meets that aren't diamond league meets. You know, just because you don't get into a diamond league meet doesn't necessarily mean that you weren't good enough, or that you're not, you know, whatever. No, it's really, it's a gamble. It's a gamble, and it's okay. That's why if you don't get into a diamond league meet, there are still other meets and other big, still like premier meets. Like, don't get me wrong, diamond league meets are awesome and amazing, okay? But there are still other meets and other meets overseas in other countries and places that are really great meets. And sometimes even those big heavy hitter people may not go to that Diamond League. They may want to go to a smaller meet sometimes and just, you know, compete there for their own personal reasons. Everybody has their own personal reasons. That's why track is such a unique sport, because it's not a team thing. So not necessarily. So you can dictate and maneuver how you would like to based upon you and your own personal reasoning. So yeah. There's other meets, and there's meets and other things going on in between Olympic Games and World Championships. We are still competing and we're still having fun making this money. All right, so my next topic is, how is track and field such an individual sport if you guys actually have to be a team sometimes? So let me just clear this, okay? Track is an individual sport and it is a team sport. I mean, at least that's my opinion and input on it. I'm just gonna say this. There's more events in the sport of track and field that you do alone versus more events in track and field that you do together. There's really only two main events in track and field that requires 4 people to have to come together to be a team to win or try to win. And those two main events is really relays, which is the 4x100 meter dash and the 4x400 meter dash. And again, those two relays require 4 people to pass the baton to each individual, and again, trying to win. Yeah, it's really only the relays that you have to be a team in, and not even all meets have a 4x1 or 4x4. You're usually only running a relay on a national team event, things for like the Olympics and World Championships and stuff. But like if I was to go to a meet tomorrow, 9 times out of 10, I'm not running a relay, and especially if it's not a relay meet. There are some meets that are specifically relays, like only, but it's usually not the case. Like, yeah, like most times, like 95% of the time, everything is by yourself. You know, field events, track events, there's more of those that you do alone than that you do together. So yeah, and that's on a professional standpoint too. Now, if you're talking about college, it's a little different because yes, you are on a college team and you guys are trying to accumulate points to win. So that's a little different, and that's where team really comes into play, mostly on a collegiate level. But on the professional level, no. I mean, it's really every man for themselves. Even in college, it's still really every man for themselves, but at least a collegiate athlete knows that 2nd, 4th, 8th place is a point that's going to be added for their team. And at the end of the meet, the team with the most points wins. But on a professional standpoint, it doesn't work like that. You're accumulating points really for yourself, and that's it. So yeah, track is a little individual, and it also is a little team oriented as well, but not necessarily, I'm sorry. Sports that are like really team oriented is like football, basketball, you know, obviously. So shout out to them, because they could be a team, but we kind of not really a team like that, not over here. But yeah, training. Oh my goodness, training. So when people, this is funny, I was at the grocery store and this lady had asked me, so what team do you run for? So let me answer that. Let me clear this up. Usually when you talk to someone that runs track, or when you meet someone that runs track and they say, yeah, I'm a professional athlete, then someone follows up, oh really, what team do you run for? Because that's what is common and normal. People are like, well, what team does he play for? What team do they play for, you know? But in track, it's not like that. Like, we don't have teams. We are all individually doing our own thing, but we do train in a training group, or some people may train alone, or they may have a one-on-one situation dynamic with their coaches. Let me tell you, everything is not identical to somebody else's situation. Everything is different. Everybody's situations is different. But yeah, just to kind of like give a little bit of the basics, you do train with a training group. There's tons of training groups throughout the country and throughout the world. So athletes train in a training group with a coach and other athletes who may train in their same events, or those coaches may train other athletes in other events. Yeah, so we don't necessarily run for a certain team, but we do run for a brand. Or sometimes you run for yourself, because again, some athletes aren't sponsored, so they're not running for anybody but themselves. And usually those athletes that are sponsored too, like I'm gonna speak for myself, like yeah, I'm sponsored by Adidas, and yes, I run for Adidas, but I'm running for me too, okay? So yeah, so we don't really run for a specific team in that type of sense, but we are all American athletes. Or sorry, we not all are, but some athletes are going to try out for whatever country that they are from, and be a part of that team going into like the Olympics or a world championship type of meet. But if it's not an Olympic meet, if it's not an Olympic year, and if it's not a world championship year, there's no team to really be made. I'm sorry, no, that's not true. There are other teams that can be made in between Olympic Games, or even in the same year of an Olympic Games. There are other teams that can be made. You have like Pan Ams and, you know, we do less national team events, such as like Olympic Games or other things that require us to be like a team, like the USA team. We do less of that than what we do on our own or by ourselves, or like as an individual athlete and track athlete. Like we go to more meets competing as just ourselves, and in whatever gear that we're sponsored in or sponsored by, and compete. But there are some groups that are strictly like Adidas athletes or strictly Nike athletes. Like you do have a couple of those groups out there, okay? And those are just the companies formulate some of those training camps or training groups for those specific athletes. But like right now myself, I'm in a training group with a few women who are not all sponsored by Adidas. You know, we have a couple of Nike, we have New Balance, and we have a couple of Adidas athletes as well. But yeah, so most cases are going to be like that, and then you're going to find some cases where a person, an individual, will be a group that is just strictly for Nike athletes or Adidas or Puma, you know, athletes only. I mean, yeah, it's just nothing wrong with any of that. It's just whatever situation you find best for you. I really want to do this video because, man, it really made me look at things differently. I'm like, wow, people really don't understand or know much about track and field. I thought it was pretty interesting to just kind of come across so many different individuals from different walks of life who really just have no knowledge or no real reason to have any knowledge to understand and know about the sport of track and field. And so that's why I was just like, oh my gosh, like I have to make this video. Like, what? This is perfect. Like, people need to learn this and know this. Like, come on, guys. So, but I mean, what can we say? You know, it's not your fault if you didn't know some of the things that you might have learned in this video, or just things in general. Like, it's not your fault. Like, and it's not my fault if I don't know much about the sport of fencing. Like, if you don't try to educate yourself about it, then you just won't know. So it is okay. And that's why I hope athletes out there take their time to, you know, try to educate and do their best that they can with what they know and what they have to educate the best that they can, because that's all we can do. And especially with our love and our joy and, you know, our love for our sports, like, this is a way that we can give back, and just a way to help educate and help put our sport on. Like, what? I'm putting this on out here, okay? No, I'm just kidding. But I really hope I did a really good job, or just I did well at explaining some of these misconceptions or just frequently asked questions. You know, it's a sport. I think people should at least try to give themselves a chance to learn something about another sport, or learn something about anything differently than what they're already exposed to or what they already have knowledge on. About to close this video out. I hope this video was really helpful for you guys, and if you guys have any feedback, comments, whatever, like, please feel free to let me know. Comment below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at IamSimplyAsh. And if you want to send me your, you know, your opinions and feedback there, more on a private scale, that's totally fine. But yeah, so I hope you guys share this with someone who this video could be helpful for, and until then, I will see you guys next time.